Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to gird your loins because it's time for the good news, the bad news, and the other shit. I don't believe you heard me. The good news, the bad news, and the other shit. Man, oh man, Vic.
Yes, sir.
Good news, bad news, other shit. For those who don't know, it's Conspiracy Wednesday. On Conspiracy Wednesday, we go out and we talk about some of the conspiracies. And, you know, for some people, it's a bummer. And some people, you know.
So why don't you just tell us, is it going to be a bummer?
Well, it's Conspiracy Wednesday.
So it's a bummer.
Hey, I got a great Christmas video for the ending. At least I think it's great because I haven't watched it.
All right.
But I have a Christmas video about 250 Santa Claus dashing through the snow. So that'll cheer you up at the end, even if I bum you out.
Yeah, okay.
But, you know, all the talk, you guys, first of all, we have to acknowledge, the fact that Herman Cain withdrew his nomination. Well, he withdrew his candidacy for presidency. The Republican, he stopped his campaign for being the Republican candidate. And I know that people all around here are saddened. I can tell by the look on the ladies' faces.
Watch the claps.
That they are saddened by the look. No.
Again, we're going to give all praise to God.
Well, it started out bad, right, because his name was Herman, you know, and other than Mr. Munster, there's not a bunch of good Hermans out there.
Well, there's a Herman cake that you get. It's like the bomb.
The
bomb.
Oh, my.
That's my grandma. She knows about that one. Herman cake, oh, my God.
Well, if this was Herman Cain.
Close. See, that's what he backed up. It's not good no more.
Well, so obviously that was the first thing. Now, some people are saying that the conspiracy is that there are no candidates to run against the president. At the same time, the news came out, you guys, that the U.S. announced their spending for military spending. And I know the ladies may not know this, but they came out, and this time it came out to $654 billion. Ladies, let me tell you what happened. I went looking to see what the U.S. was spending on the military spending. This was weeks ago. So I just Googled it. You don't have to trust me. Just Google it. You could Google U.S. military spending. Then you could Google world military spending by country. Well, as it turns out, in 2010, the U.S. spent $669 billion on defense. The nearest country was China with $114 billion. The U.S. outspends the entire world combined in military spending. So when you wonder why you don't have money for your schools and your health plan, now there are many people don't like me attacking the president. I just said the president was no change. A lot of people didn't like that. But I said, this is his watch. $669 billion 2010. 2011, they already announced $654 billion. We also found that depending on who you believe, there's another 200 and some billion dollars in discretionary funds.
That's for black.
So that's why, if you wonder why you don't have money for your schools, and Martin Luther King said this. Now, what's interesting is none of the candidates. Have you heard anybody heard one candidate say cut defense? In fact, what's so amazing, when they went from that $669 billion to the $654 billion, Leon Panetta came out saying, "You're threatening the whole U.S. military defense system." It's when they pissing on your head and telling you it's rain. Okay? Telling you. So I think you should be outraged because I said this. No matter if you're a right winger, I don't think you want to spend $650 billion. You know, I said, if China's spending $114 billion, what if we just cut ours down to $400 billion? You know, just take a little off or something. Fix some shit, you know. Give a little health care, some immunizations, food, people living on the street. Ain't no bailouts coming to the American public. The president raising record monies for his reelection, shooting out $1 billion. Has anyone noticed that none of your Republican candidates have any money? They have no money. Where are the money? Behind the president. And like I said, The money only goes for certain reasons. Like I said, you only get the money. You have to sit in the room when people say the right things. So you don't even get to run for president. Okay?
Yes.
You can't say the right shit in that room. You don't even get no money. You ain't running for nothing.
So you say it's no room.
Okay.
It's no room for idealism. Is that
I'm
what you're
just
saying?
bringing out the fact that right now people all over this country are crying the blues. You got Occupy Wall Street taking over. I'm just pointing out the facts. You don't have to take Mario's opinion. Go search what your country spent on defense. It's not a secret. $654 billion this year. With China, I told you the nearest country, we outspend the entire world combined. Combined. And remember this, when you have a military contract, that means 600-some billion going to who? Who is it going to? Is that DuPont? And the people who own those companies, are they taking vacations on the boats where? If you sell the U.S. government, and I said this on 911, because in the midst of a tragedy, see, people use tragedy to take advantage. And I said right then, I said, baby, watch out. Because anybody who does work for the federal government about to get a blank check. They're about to write these people a blank check. There are millionaires that when that plane hit, they jumped up and turned to their wife, oh, you can get that house in the
Hamptons.
because money's about to come.
Yeah.
The money about to come. And the money sure is flowing right now as we attempt to deal with the Middle East situation. See, the other controversy of the day is the U.S., how many people we going to go to war with? As it turns out, those of you who don't know, last month we had a NATO airstrike in Pakistan that made a mistake and killed 24 Pakistani soldiers while we running military incursions in other people's countries, much to their chagrin. People don't like that. People don't like that in Pakistan. In fact, the only people who do like it are the Indians who hate Pakistan. That's their enemy. They live right next door.
Right.
So they have an ongoing. So the only people who like this are Israel, India, and all the military spending people. But everybody knows the U.S. is threatening everybody. How many people are you going to go to war with? Afghanistan. We talked about the money. We're the ones who announced, again, you can go search. This is not Mario's information. I just search it. We admitted to 7,000 drones over Afghanistan. Now, I said 700 sounded like a lot to me. 7,000 sounds freaking ridiculous. There's nothing there, okay? But we got 7,000. Now, as it turns out, you guys, we also had a drone shot down just now in Iran this last week. Meanwhile, they're talking about whether or not they're going to attack Iran. Now, Iran has a military and weapons. Now, you know, the part of the issue with the Middle East is they're so close. You can't detonate. You detonate a nuclear weapon in Israel, you done knocked out 3-4 countries. Okay? I'm just telling you. That's the city. It's like this country the size of Los Angeles. Okay?
Let me ask you
You have
something.
some dangers.
Let me ask you, do they have a right, even if it's wrong for them to have it based on the perceived mentality of a third world country? Do they have the right?
That's an interesting discussion because what happens is when you had your cowboy president, Bush, talking about the great evil triumvirate, see, when you talk all that talk, you make people nervous. And the people who don't get nervous are the ones who have a bomb. Pakistan got a bomb. Iran, they don't know whether they got one or not. They know they're working on it.
No, I know.
But so Korea got the bomb. So everybody who got a bomb, don't take your shit. Because they just go, I might get suicidal off in this motherfucker. And blow up everybody.
Suicide, you kill yourself.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they're saying about Korea. Because, see, Korea ain't back down.
No.
They just said, and I'm telling you, Syria also not backing down. And Iran has said is if you attack us, heads will roll. So part of the controversy out there is the U.S. gearing up because you hear a lot of information and talk about attacking Iran, even though we showed you the Iranian protests where the people were in the street marching, protesting. And I said, these are the folks you want to nuke right here? See, that's the whole thing. We're all the same. People want freedom. People want opportunity. It's government you got to be aware of. But whenever you don't like a government, please be careful of attacking the people. That's what we do so often. Remember, the U.S. detonated nuclear devices over 2 civilian targets. Remember in World War II, when they put that bomb over Nagasaki and Hiroshima, they knew those were civilian targets. They were cities with people, grandmas, children.
Yep.
We made a choice. It wasn't a military target. We blew up millet bombs over civilian targets. Grandmas, old ladies, children, and killed them. We're the only country that's ever done that.
Yep.
Okay? So remember, there are people who are scared of us.
Can I ask you a question because it's going to come up? Think there's going to be a European bailout? And is it good to have a European bailout based on the conditions at hand? There's the philosophical reason why you may not. But let's just say, is it better to have the bailout for the people's interest, which you have already alluded to they're not interested in? But is it far worse if they don't?
You know, Vic, I can't even claim a degree of understanding or intelligence because to me it's all manipulated anyway. Mm-hmm. All the money banking. I can try to. And what's amazing, don't feel bad because I did a lot of research and went and looked at what the experts had to say about our own situation. And you know what? They have no idea. They have no idea. They have no idea what happened. They don't know how they did it. They don't know how it occurred.
No.
Okay, so nobody knows shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's all dirty. I can tell you that. In fact, when you study the history of banking, it looks like all banking has always been.
So there
dirty.
is no. The point I was saying is that because you have partnership and globalization, economics, the whole thing.
It's part of your new world order,
right? So it's not a U.S. thing.
No, it's the money people of the world coming together to control the money of the world. Mm-hmm. So it's all the money people. Now you know there's laws that say that when you're rich like that,
right,
you're not allowed to talk about it. You know that? Like if you own a ton of stock, if we both own half the stock of Exxon, we're not allowed to talk about it. Even though we may go on vacation, your wife, my wife, we all go hang out. While we out, we're not supposed to talk about the trading or do anything manipulated because that'd be insider trading. Mm-hmm. So that means it goes on all the time, right? No. Yeah, okay. Because if we rich folks and we hanging out, ain't nobody here but rich folks. We not going to talk about what we going to do with the stocks? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that means it always occurs, right?
And
okay, unless we're going on the honor system, then it doesn't occur. Right. If it's on the honor system,
and then we're left, and I have to do this because he makes some wonderful points, and then I go, at the end of the day, which country would you still want to live in under all these conditions?
Well, that's part of the point. The American worker, remember now, that's called pacification. It's part of why we say you have a democratic system like ours. It makes you believe that your voice, your vote actually means something, but it doesn't. But the idea is because it is the system by which the workers do the best productivity. Yeah. The goal is to keep you working, make you think that you get a piece of the rock. So you keep going to work every day. You will send your kids off to fight wars for people you don't even know, against people you never heard of. And they will convince you that that's honorable. Remember, we talk about this. I'm privy to hanging out with some very influential folks. None of them dream of their children being in the military.
At all.
As much as we love the military, who is that sold to? Putting on a uniform is honorable. That goes back to as far back as mankind goes back to the Roman Empire. How do you convince soldiers to fight and die for you? You convince them that that's honorable. But who goes out? Poor working folks. You see any rich folks' kids going to join? They be goddamned.
My kids will go. My rich kids will go.
She said her rich kids will go. Let's go. Well, here's the other. I don't want to put a spin on it, but we have to recognize, though, this is a special day in our history.